Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be finishing up my bumper and tire carrier build. If you're new here, welcome to the channel and don't forget to subscribe. You guys ever get so excited about your progress in a project and then you just feel like you got kicked in the nuts? So this video is actually going to be part 4 in my bumper and tire carrier build. If you haven't seen any of the others, you can go ahead and check them out now, or you can wait till the end of this video and I'll add them at the end screen of this video. Where I left off in my last video is I was finishing up my pin location here for locking it open. Now since my last video I have taken care of a couple of things. I went ahead and finish welded the pins as well as finish welded this frame here, and I went ahead and capped off some of my tubing. Now other than that, we're exactly where we left off. Now the next thing I want to tackle is my latches, as well as I need a positive stop for my swing arms. Right now, if you were to swing them all the way closed, they would just hit the back of the Jeep because there's nothing stopping them from going on in. Now what I'm going to do is, I know that my gap here is a 1/4 inch. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to take some 2-inch angle iron. That is going to be my stop. As well as I'm going to cut a piece out of this 1/8 inch plate and mount it right on top of the angle iron. Now the reason for the double stack is not only to fill that space to add up to a 1/4, but I'm going to take this 1/8 inch plate, kind of bend it around, and to build just a little ramp coming up in case there is a little bit of sag, that it will slide in just fine. So what I'm going to do right now is figure out about how long my pieces need to be cut, get it all cut, get it tacked down, and we'll see how it works. So I'm thinking I want the last 1.5 inches of my swing arms to rest on the bumper. So if I do that, we're at roughly 1.5 inches there. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to go ahead and cut my piece at 4 inches wide. That will give me just under 1.5 inches on either side, but that'll be just fine. It'll work perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get cutting all this. So honestly, now that I'm actually looking at it and I'm really thinking about it, that is a terrible idea. The reason is it gives me something to catch everything that I'm sliding in and out of the back of my Jeep on. So when I go to slide my tent out or my boxes out, or I can't just drag it across the bumper, it'll hit this pretty hard and it'll just create more problems. So I definitely want something in here to fill this gap. That way when it latches down, it latches hard on something. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and take a piece of 2-inch strap and cram it in there and call it a day on that. Now for my stock, to keep it from hitting the back of the Jeep, I think I'm going to go the simple route and just put something on the face here, and that way when it comes across, it hits and stops, and I don't got to worry about it going into the back of the Jeep. Also, I don't got to worry about catching my belly or anything I got in the back of the Jeep on this, because it's going to stick up a lot. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I got a good chunk of 1/4 inch strap here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it down a little bit and then set it in here. Beat that down a little bit just to make a ramp. But I'm going to notch it. That way there's no sharp corners, round it all off, all that. I'm going to use that to fill my gap right here. And then my piece that I cut out to fit in here originally, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it in half and stick it on here and somewhere in here, and that'll be my stop. And we're just going to go with that and call it a day. Now this isn't very thick. It's not going to stop it from bending if it gets slammed really hard. But also it's not really thick, so I don't got to worry about it being in the way of anything. So I think that'll work great. And I think that will work great as soon as I get it all finish welded. And I'm going to tap on this a little bit just to fold that down once again to give it kind of that ramp. Alright, now it is time for latches. So these here are the latches I'm going to use. I picked these up on Amazon. I just typed in tire carrier latch and this is what popped up. And I see a lot of people that use these. And I went down to the hardware store and saw some other people's rigs that had these latches. So this is what I went ahead and went with. I'll go ahead and put a link to these down in the description below. So I'm thinking I'm just going to go ahead and center this latch kind of lined up right there. center it between here and here. So I think right there looks good and it'll work. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all this tacked on, and then we will see how this all looks on the Jeep. I'm really excited to see how it looks. It hasn't been on the Jeep for about a week and a half now, so a lot has changed and I'm excited to see how it looks. Alright, so now all I gotta do is put it on there and take a look at it. Now I know the lighting isn't the best right now because it's kind of dark here and it's really bright around the Jeep, but I think that this is amazing. I think it looks great. Functions great. I mean, what more could I ask for, right? Look at that. So at this point right here, if this were to be pinned, it would stop a good 2 inches from my taillight there, which also works out perfect. And whatever box I build should clear as well. And I think that this is, I'm so excited. Now I am having to rethink some of the things I wanted to mount on here. I wanted to mount my high lift jack. I was thinking of having it mount kind of back here like this, but it contacts the back door, as well as when you swing it open, it's going to destroy my taillight. It's not going to work right there. It's not going to work across the back at all like I have it on my black Jeep. Now, I thought I could mount it right here in the center possibly. I could mount it somewhere off of the rack that I'm building, but honestly, that's just adding more weight on the center here, and it's kind of a pain. I also don't like how the high lift jack sticks up way much higher than the roof of the Jeep. But what I'm thinking is maybe I'm going to mount it inside right behind the back seat. I think Quadratech makes a kit. I don't know that I want to pay that money for it. I might build my own. I'm not sure yet. But at the same time, if it's not too expensive, really, you got to value your time. So I might just end up ordering the kit. I haven't decided yet. But I do know that the high lift jack is not going to mount on the back of the Jeep. Maybe when I build a roof rack, I can mount it on the side of the roof rack. I've done that in the past. But I want the side clear for lights. And if I do that and mount a high lift jack, I have to make my roof rack super long. And that's just not worth it to me. So high lift jack, not going on the back. That's all right. So for the most part, everything that I'm going to weld on this beast is already on here, with the exception of the rack that I'm going to build for my jerry can and my ammo can. Now that rack is going to be a bolt-on application, so for the most part, I just have a little bit of finish welding to do. I've got a lot of grinding to do, a lot of cleanup to do, so I'm super excited. You guys have no idea. Or maybe you do, I don't know. Oh. So after all of that joy and excitement, I get to come crashing down in a ball of flames. Check this out. So, opens like normal. Great. Perfectly fine. That's not good. Anyway, right there, it contacts really bad right here. Not only that, even if I swing it open all the way, I still contact. But that's all right. I think what I'm going to do is cut a piece at a 45 and fit it right into here, and then just lop this off and plate it. Simple, easy, done. And then I just have to worry about the mount that I'm going to build for my ammo can and my jerry can back here, and make sure that it clears the door as well. So I was all excited to clean all this up and paint it, but all that got shot down pretty fast. So I went ahead and notched it. I still need to clean it up some, but it clears the door. And now I just have to worry about whatever I mount right here needs to clear as well. If I mount it right to the edge and up, it's still going to hit. So I'll get it figured out. It's also really windy, so we're going to go back in the garage. Now I know that I said that I was ready to get this thing cleaned up and painted, but when I had to notch this edge here, I was talking to my dad about it, and he reminded me that I still haven't mounted my license plate yet. My license plate is going to mount down here towards the bottom. It's going to sit right about here. So what I'm going to do is build a bracket that comes off of here. It's going to be a nice solid mount, And what I'm actually going to use is just some angle iron here. Oh my God, that's almost perfect as it is. I didn't even do that on purpose. This is a piece of scrap. But it's going to come in here just like so and mount it just like that. And doing this will give me the space I need to mount a license plate light right on the underside of this angle iron pointing down. That way I can stay legal and my license plate can stay seen. So I'm going to get this all squared away and make it permanent, and then go ahead and do all of my cleanup and then get started on my jerry can and ammo can mount. Honestly, I don't hate that the way it sits. It's obviously scrap. So if I were to mount that right there, I mean, that's not bad at all. I could mount that right there and be happy. So it is finally time for me to build my ammo can and jerry can mount. Now this isn't the one that's going to be going on it. This is just one that I had laying around out back, but I'm going to use it for my template for now. This ammo can is the actual can that's going to go on it. I haven't decided if I'm going to paint it yet or not. If I do, I'm probably going to paint it orange. Match the Jeep. Anyway, so I know that I want to build a structure for a good base, and I'm just going to build a square all the way around and then have a cross piece in the middle for more support for the jerry can. So for my base, I'm going to be using more of my 2-inch angle iron. I think it's like an 1/8 inch thick, and it should be plenty for what I'm building here. Now my plan is to come up a little bit on the front of the base and then have it tie in kind of coming up at an angle, but we will see how that goes. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do that yet, but I'm pretty sure that it'll all come full circle once I build my base. So I'm going to go ahead, cut my pieces out and build my square, and then see from there what I want to do. So I've been looking at this mount from all different angles, and I think that I'm going to go ahead and scrap the idea of a dual mount for right now. Now I can always switch things up in the future because I do plan on making this a bolt-on mount, but for right now I think I'm going to scrap the idea and just go with an ammo can mount for now. 99% of the time I'm not going to need to carry gas with me, and I think that just the ammo can will be fine. So now I have some rework to do. I'm glad that I didn't build the whole structure before I set it up there and looked at it. I'm just going to go ahead and go with just the ammo can. But that also means that I need to cut what I have here and rework it a little bit. It's freezing in my garage. It's freezing outside. It did start snowing a little bit, so I think I might pack it up for the night and start over tomorrow. Now I've got my tray trimmed down to just hold the ammo can, and because of the way this is going to be sitting, I did have to rethink how I was going to do just about everything with this tray. Now I've been thinking about it for the last couple of days, and because this is going to be bolt-on, I've got my tray here, and what I'm going to do is take some angle iron, mount it right here towards the back, and this is going to be where it bolts to my swing arm. I'm going to have 2 pieces of angle iron up here on front, just to give it more structure further up to keep it from wanting to bounce out. I'm also going to have a piece of strap here in the front, just to give it more to keep it from falling out. And then I'm going to have a piece of strap here in the back, basically doing the same thing. Now for my support, I'm going to come down the sides just like so, on either side, and that should complete my box. And with all that, I still needed to figure out a good way to secure the ammo can. I saw a lot of people that use straps. I don't want to use a strap because it's going to get sunbaked. It's going to be out in the sun all the time, because pretty much whatever I mount to this swing arm is going to be permanent. I'm not going to keep taking it on and off. So I'm also going to use a piece of strap. It's probably going to be hinged. It's going to come up and over the can, and I'm going to have a latch to help hold it all tight. That way it can't go anywhere, as well as the latch is lockable. The pieces I picked up in my hardware store are small and cheap, so if it breaks down the road, I'll go ahead and replace it with some beefier things, but that is what I had at the moment so that I can just get this thing done. So I'm going to go ahead and start to assemble my box here and go from there. I'm really excited to finally have this thing done. Oh, I do realize I never said what all this is. Pretty much everything to do with this mount is going to be made out of 1/8 inch steel. All of my angle iron is 1/8 inch, as well as all of my strap is some 1/8 inch. The angle iron is 2x2 and the strap is just 2 inch. So far I think it's coming together pretty good. Now all I need to do is make my straps to go down the sides here and then do all my final welding. So when I cut my pieces, it wasn't perfect, so this one here is just a little bit higher. So I do need to grind this down some to even everything out, but oh well, it is what it is. Nobody's gonna see it when the ammo can's on it anyway, so, but it's gonna bother me. I'm gonna have to fix it. No big deal, it'll get fixed. So, super excited. I know I keep saying that I'm excited, but like all of this is coming together finally. Yeah, now I just need to figure out my strips here. Alright, I'm liking it so far. Yes, I do have some things I need to work on here. Yes, I do need to work on making it a little prettier. It's a little uneven here, but for what it's going to be used for, it's going to get slapped on there and it's going to work great. I do need to cut off here a little bit just to make it even, because it is going to bug me even though nobody's going to see it. And when you set this in here, it fits almost perfect. And I still think you're not going to be able to undo the latches. That way you can't just pop it open and get into it, or I don't have to worry about it popping open going down the trail. Either way it goes, I am going to have a strap that comes up and over and down the front to fully secure this, but so far I think that this is looking great. So my box is fully built, and now it's time to think about my latch. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to have a piece of strap that attaches to the back of the rack here, and then I'm going to have a hinge so that it'll fold down. I'm thinking I'm either going to hinge it again or bend it right here and have it come all the way down, and then have a latch that holds it tight down there at the bottom. This is exactly how the jerry can mounts on my trailer are designed. So now I just need to figure out how long I want all my pieces to be. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to figure out where I need to bend, go ahead and bend this piece here to fit the front here, then figure out where I want to cut from there as well as on the back, and I'm going to start from the front, work my way all the way back. I don't know. We'll see. Wish me luck. We'll see how it goes. Look at that. Hey, it's still hot. Alright. Now, I haven't decided if I want the latch on the bottom and pull down, or if I want the latch on the top. I think I'm going to go ahead and put it on the bottom down here and have it just secure it snug. I don't know why I keep touching it. Oh! Should let that cool down a little bit. Not going to touch it yet. I'm not going to do it. Alright, so if this comes in like so, there for my cut. The margarine does not taste good. With all my pieces cut, it is time to assemble. I know I keep saying it all the time, but I'm really excited. This is like the final step, and then clean up and paint, and it's going to be amazing. Oh. Yeah, let's fire up the burner. And with that, box is done. Yeah. Now my latch setup is a little bit loose, but I do think I'm going to stick a little bit of rubber on the top here just kind of help cushion it a little bit, and it will help hold everything tight. Overall, super stoked. You think it's still hot? Yeah, me too. Now I'm not going to make you guys sit through prepping for paint, so the next step is going to be getting this bolted on to that rack. So I'm going to hop on that and I'll see you guys in light. It's still really hot. I touched it. There's a reason why my gloves have no fingers. And I do have regular welding gloves, but I figure I've already ruined these, and these are probably going to get thrown away after this project. So why not just finish them out? I mean, I need new gloves. So I realized that I never told you guys what my plan was for the exhaust hanger. So originally the exhaust hanger mounted to the nut strip for everything else inside the frame rail, and there was a rivet in this hole. So all I did was I drilled out this hole, ground it down a little bit, drilled the hole in the frame slightly bigger. My plan is to feed this through, tighten my bolt down, and then go ahead and weld to that hole through the frame. That way it'll hold it there good and tight, should last a long time. Now for mounting this, I just went to my local hardware store and picked up some 5/16 bolts. I'm just going to go ahead and drill this on through, get my bolts all lined up, make sure that it's going to do just fine, and then I'm going to paint it and mount it. Now I'm not going to bore you guys anymore and make you watch me drill these holes, and I'm also not going to make you watch me paint, but I do want to tell you guys what kind of paint I am using. For my primer, I'm using some Rust-Oleum self-etching primer. I really like Rust-Oleum spray cans, and this stuff works great. That one's empty. Swish. And for my top coat, I'm actually going to be using Rust-Oleum truck bed liner. This is what I used at the base of my trim all the way around my Cherokee, as well as this is what I used to paint my front bumper. When it's done right and it's fully cured, it is extremely durable. And the nice thing is, if I scratch it all up, all I have to do, recoat it. So how about let's check it out on the Jeep.
All right, overall, I think the bumper turned out really great. It's a very sturdy welds. I mean, I'm shaking the Jeep pretty much. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram and also the Tickety Talk at It's Project Venture. Thank you for watching.
So overall, bumper's great. That's actually Judson. It's not me. I know some of you were confused. You thought it was me for a second. But you can actually check out his channel. What is it?
Four-Wheeled Adventures.
Four-Wheeled Adventures. Four-Wheeled Adventures. And you can check out that Suburban, as well as he's a mechanic who works on things and records it from time to time. Anyway, see you guys in the next video.